Fam, what's up? Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for joining me tonight. If you're double dipping, I appreciate the double thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Let's start out with the offensive statistics through 3 games. Call line is open 205-850-1994. We got 2 callers on. I'll get to you guys in just a second. When we look to the offensive statistics through 2 games, it looks like this. Now, Roydell Williams eclipsed the 100-yard mark against South Florida. He has 30 attempts for 177 yards. Jace McQuillan has 35 attempts for 158 yards. Buck, what's up? I see you again, man. Double dipping. I think this is important as you look to the top left with those running backs. Feed them the football. Now, the best runner on that team might be the third guy in that column, Jalen Milroe. As you can see, Alabama, they can run the ball if they want to. Got to just figure it out. What's up, Katrina? I see you inside the comment box. Jalen Milroe, 22 attempts for a net, 92 with 2 touchdowns. Passing-wise, we'll get to that in just a second. And we'll take our calls in just a minute. But when we look to the receiving room, not good. Not good yet. Through 3 games, Isaiah Bond has 10 receptions for 152 yards. Kobe Prentice started out hot in the first 2 games. I don't think he caught a pass last game against South Florida. 8 receptions, 88 yards on the year. Still looking for that first touchdown. Jermaine Burton, 6 touchdowns, 126 receptions, 127 yards. 2 touchdowns. 2 of those actually called back. And where was Amari Niblack? I don't think that's on him. I just think it's lack of creativity to get him the football. 4 receptions, 94 yards. And Malik Benson only has 4 receptions for 38 yards. Those are major weapons. Man. It's just, I mean, the more we look at it, it's like, we want to kind of point the fingers all over the place, but I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Tommy Rees and the lack of offensive creativity that he has as an offensive coordinator. All right. Go to our first call. It's a 251, and we take it now. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, man, it's Robert from Mobile.
Robert, I appreciate you batting leadoff tonight. Is it Tommy Rees? Is it the quarterbacks? Is it the offensive line? Has the game passed up Saban? Is it all the above? Are we freaking out? Help us understand this.
Tommy Rees is definitely nothing to be impressed with. He has made me do something I hadn't done in forever. I saw Paul Feinbaum on an interview, and I totally agree with him. so that alone should get him fired, in my opinion. He was in Feinbaum, hit Tommy Rees hard, and he's absolutely right. I mean, our offense has gotten far worse. I'm wishing to get Bill O'Brien back. It's that bad. Bill O'Brien was better than this. And of course the offensive line has gone way downhill. I totally agree with you that Milroe should be the guy. I mean, against similar competition, Milroe has performed far better. And I'm beginning to Feinbaum even said that he's heard about Milroe, may have been Nick Saban's doghouse, which is why he didn't get in that game. Which I guess explains a lot, because we were all looking at the game and wondering, why isn't Milroe in here yet? I understand, but I was totally on board with giving the other guys a chance. You can't say it's an open competition and they never get a chance. Mm-hmm. They got their chance. They went out there, and at the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth, I said, now you have to get Milroe in this game. It's way too close, and he still didn't get in. So him being in the doghouse, may not have handled the benching very well, unlike Jalen Hurts, who handled it quite well. I think that might have been what kept Milroe out of the game. And Nick said when this was necessarily completely worried that he couldn't pull it out because we had so much more talent. But yeah, it was just this is the worst game we played since the loss to Louisiana Monroe, and it was a win. Even though our losses, we play a lot better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And the offense was just absolutely pathetic. Once again, I agree with Paul Feinbaum. If I'm Nick Saban, I'm telling Buckner, you need to go look for another school. I mean, you're not getting back on the field again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Buckner was just, I mean, it was amazing how he looked like the guy who Jalen Hurts replaced in the game against USC. That's how he looked. It's like, man, think of the light. When are the lights going to come on? You look lost. Simple game managing throws is what's missing from the quarterback position right now. You know, they're not the big deep ball that looks really good, impressive. The superstar ball. It's just a game managing a 5-yard out route. A wide receiver screen, a screen pass, a 15-yard pass. You know, that's something like that. The game managing type throws that these guys so far has not been able to give us on a consistent basis. And that's what we need right now. It's great to have hero ball, somebody able to play hero ball. But right now, can you always just give me those game manager throws? And Buckner was just beyond me. Even that was beyond him. It was like, don't get out of here. Now, you almost wanted Tommy Reese was in a plant by somebody to sabotage the Alabama program. His offensive play calling is so terrible. Why weren't we throwing passes down the middle of tight ends? We got some pretty decent tight ends. Those guys should have been taking over the game, trying to back that defense off our offensive line. Quick throws down the middle to the tight end. And maybe that opens up things for the running game and opens up things for everything else. Wardell Williams has showed himself to be, for the guy as far as the running backs go. He was able to make something out of nothing down the stretch when we absolutely needed it. So that was good. But the offensive line is just, I'm watching the guy who's 74. I can't remember his name.
Caden Proctor.
I'm seeing a corner.
Caden Proctor.
Yeah, Proctor. I'm seeing a cornerback go around you. Dude, you got to outweigh that guy by 50, 60 pounds. How is he getting around you so easily to go to sack Simpson? But that was constantly during the game. We definitely need to reevaluate everything. Hopefully, Milroe will be out of the doghouse by the time to beat Ole Miss to play Ole Miss. I don't know if we're going to beat them. Right now, I'm in the camp with a lot of people. I don't have any confidence in this team anymore. Now, I've lost confidence in this team's ability. It's like, you can only give me so many mediocre games, and people still keep confident. It's up to you. It's up to the players and the coaching staff to get all the confidence back in them. Because right now, it's just, I'm not certain if this team is not going to lose 4 games. I could see easily 4 losses if we don't figure this stuff out.
On the line with Robert from Mobile. Robert, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about Ty Simpson in the sample size that we got against South Florida? I mean, is there some substance there? Can he beat Ole Miss? What's your take?
Again, you see what Milroe did against simpler competition. When Milroe played against Middle Tennessee, it wasn't even a contest. I mean, he didn't. He was missing a lot of the underneath stuff, and you and I pointed out earlier, hey, dude, if you don't zip those balls in there, they'll get picked. But he at least it wasn't even a contest when Milroe played, and I don't believe this would have been even a close game had Milroe started from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. He can beat that level of competition fairly easily. It's when the competition gets above that he seems to have struggled. So right now, with Simpson, it was still a struggle. You still wasn't wowing me against the University of Southern Florida. I was hoping you could give us some wows with that. It was just one really good throw, and the rest of them were maybe. His quarterback sneaks were good. I guess there's that. But no, I think should be Milroe and for the rest of the season, and I think he gives us the best chance of winning. We were all hoping that the decision for Nick Saban was that he had 3 really great quarterbacks to choose from, and he couldn't figure out which. But that's definitely not the case. These are the three worst quarterbacks in the Saban era. And that's unfortunate for us. So.
All right, so got the info in, Robert. So the over/under total points for this game, their prediction right now at 65. And then the Alabama.
For Alabama, Ole Miss?
Yeah. And then Alabama's favored by 11.5. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow, I did not think Alabama was favored that.
and also, Alabama's ranked number 13th in the coaches poll. So, or I'm sorry, in the AP.
No, that I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
That I'm not surprised. I know it's
Hey, Robert. Thanks for leading off the show. I appreciate it. Man. I mean, I pretty much agree with all of your points, to be honest. I think, when you kind of look in checking the boxes and you look to what we learned from last week, I mean, Feinbaum does a great job stirring up. But in this case, I mean, those points are pretty dead on. And Alabama, like I was kind of like forecasting like the future. Now it's just like, just win. It was
really?
We were kind of thinking, what was kind of the mantra, and now it's survive and advance, so it's just like find a way to beat Lane Kiffin, survive that, and Pete Golding, because you can't let Pete Golding, if anybody wants this game more than Lane Kiffin, it's Pete Golding. Can you imagine all the crap that he heard about Alabama fans talking? Can you imagine if his defense is the one that beats Alabama? Talk about irony.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
All right. So
one more thing before I go, we got really bad spoil with the four best quarterbacks in the history of Alabama football, just right behind each other.
Yep.
I mean that just spoiled us to the hilt. So that's where we went from the four best ever to this. It's been a huge drought for us. But all right, man. Catch you later.
All right, man. Take it easy. See ya. All right, that was Robert from Mobile playing leadoff. We got a 716 and a 205, and a 251 just joined us. If you haven't followed Coach Kiffin on social media, it is awesome. First of all, I was looking for the tweet that he had earlier today. I mean, he's been tweeting out about Alabama nonstop. He tweeted 2 hours ago, go as Alabama improves to 2-1 over South Florida. And then there was this photo that he had. He retweeted some stuff about Tyler Buckner. I can't find it right now. Here we go. This is it. I just want to show you this real quick because I thought, okay, here it is. So what he does is he tweeted this. I'm going to bring it full screen in just a second. And the way that he's doing this, I don't know, the tweets from him are always, I always find them so, like they mean something. They're trolls, right? They're absolutely 100% trolls. So this one in particular, you heard the screenshot. I just had to go find it. All right, so check this out. This is what he tweeted. Okay, I'm going to bring it full screen. All right, so Lane Kiffin just tweets out, and he just retweeted Tyler Buckner, a video of him, and then he retweeted that Alabama beat South Florida, and he tweeted GOAT, and he tweeted this right here: family, the GOAT, portal, Ole Miss, Alabama football, 2 favorite places, and best people ever. I think what he's doing here is he's saying, and then he has the gratitude journal. So what he's doing is he's saying the gratitude journal for the portal, right? Or portal/NIL if you want, that is taken toll on the GOAT, right? And allowed for a better opportunity for his family to eat, right? He is coming in guns blazing, and he is just, the GOAT, this and that. He wants to beat the hell out of Nick Saban. He wants this to be, if Coach Saban is vulnerable, then Lane Kiffin wants a shot to be able to beat Nick Saban head to head so that if Coach Saban does retire at the end of this year, he can be like, hey, I beat him, hire me. This is Coach Kiffin's dream job. This is where Coach Kiffin wants to be, right? 100%. He wants to come back here. Imagine, what about this? What if he was able to beat Coach Saban? Coach Saban retires. Lane Kiffin takes a job and then hires back Pete Golding as the defensive coordinator. Alabama fans talk about a dichotomy of emotions, right? My goodness, they'd be happy, sad, mad, all in the same. We go back to the phone lines at 716. Let's get it. You're on the line with Kyle Anderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
What's up, Kyle? This is Jared from Buffalo. Kyle, I'm just going to ignore what you just said on that last line. I'm just going to completely ignore what you just said.
Oh, man. Jarek, hold on. We got Jarek calling in from Buffalo. Jarek, it's good to rap one-on-one with you. I appreciate it. There's a lot to digest, man. How have you been the last 24 hours since this has all gone down?
I think the real question is how have I been the last 2 weeks of just me suffering with my Bills in Alabama. I've been suffering, man. So it's not been great. But you know what? I said it during the post game live. With that for me, I'm done with the emotions and the peer pressure, and I'm done. I'm done with all that. I think we all need to come to a realization of what this team is. And the fact of the matter is, this is a rebuilding program. This is a team that right now, and they've been hinting at this for the last few months with this team, talking about how they want to instill the philosophy, murder ball, all this rah-rah talk that's been going on about trying to restill the old Bama standard. Well, this is going to take a process because this has not just been going on this year, guys. This has been going on the last 3 years. This has been going on since the 2021 season, and we've heard rumors. We've heard Alabama alumni not being pleased. Like, they can see it, that the tradition's not being followed. And you got guys like Bo Scarborough, Reggie Ragland, Marlon Humphrey on Twitter. Like, what did Marlon Humphrey say on Twitter? That he's done. That Marlon Humphrey said that the dynasty is pretty much over. I'm not saying that it's completely going to be over. I just think that right now we're in a rebuilding period. I think right now we're in a period that we need to find ourselves internally and externally. But these players are full. I'm sorry. It's not a team that's full of continuity and chemistry and players that can hold each other accountable. There's not any raw leadership. There's no alpha males on this football team. And until that can get particularly fixed, and these 5 stars got to stop behaving like certain individuals and start to come together and to start playing like a unit and start to be like a team, we're not going to go anywhere. Like, there was no business at all, South Florida. The score was 17-3. There's no business. There's no business that an undersized defensive line was able to manhandle that offensive line that, quote unquote, averages 330 pounds. There's no meaning to that. So we can take away the X's and O's and we can blame these coordinators and stuff like that. But like I said before, guys, it starts with Nick Saban. And I know people don't want to put any blame on Nick Saban because of the accomplishments that he was able to display. But this is on Nick Saban. He's the one that got these 5 stars. He's the one that got these players. He's the one that hired this staff at the end of the day. Who was excited about Tommy Rees? Who thought that Tommy Rees was going to come in here and now all of a sudden he was going to change the complexion of this program? Notre Dame fans have been telling us for months of what Tommy Rees and Tyler Buchner were. Why is this a surprise? Why all of a sudden are people surprised that Tommy Rees is not creative? That's the first thing that Notre Dame fans have been saying, that he is not creative. He is the one that's held back this offense. And when you take a look at what Notre Dame is doing now with Sam Hartman, it's a completely different team. They're more explosive than they've been the last decade. So to me, this all starts with Saban. And I think that for the most part is going to have to end with Saban. This is a program that right now we are not going in the right direction. We are going backwards. And that's okay. Because like I said, guys, for the most part, not everything ends forever. The fact that we've been on this run for 15, 16 years is an incredible accomplishment that for the most part it's going to be a long time before somebody replicates this. But right now we need to reevaluate our program. I think as fans, we need to reevaluate our program, and we need to really kind of, I hate to say it, but bend our expectations. Instead of just thinking that we're going to make the playoffs or national championship every year, we got to reevaluate this program, and we need to see exactly how we are. How can we get to that particular process? Because we're thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead instead of taking the basic steps, taking those small steps. That's where we are right now. And right now, we got to figure out quarterback situations. We got to figure out how this offensive line can improve, if it can improve. Because let's be honest, it's been digressing. It's been regressing every year since 2021. It's gotten worse and worse and worse every single year. The penalties have gotten worse and worse and worse every single year. Our pass production has gotten worse and worse and worse every single year. A lot of the major stats for both offensively and defensively has actually gotten worse. You know what's actually gotten better over the years, and something that I would never say, is our special teams unit. The kicking has gotten better. The punting has gotten better. That's actually, you make an argument, that's the best part of our football team right now is our special teams unit. So, it is what it is with our team. Like I said, I'm done with the headache. I think that we need to think about realistic expectations, and I think we need to think about the future of this football program. But right now, we're not in a good spot right now. We're just not in a good spot, and I think that for the most part, we need, as fans, we got to accept it.
On the line with Jarek from Buffalo. It's a tough spot to be in when you only escape South Florida 17-3, and when you're tied halftime 3-3. And when you look at the statistics that correlate to this team on the offensive side of the ball, let me ask you this, Jarek. From a schematic standpoint, let's just switch gears just real quick. Just take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
The defense. What's our observations thus far from the defense? Is this a better defense than we're giving them credit for? I know and I ask you this is because they go up against a really good Texas team. I'm not going to say elite because they've only played 3 games, but there's some NFL guys on that squad. There's a good quarterback on that squad. And then they played, South Florida, who had a quarterback who was just, kind of a gamer, playing with a lot of momentum. And then they played Middle, who just kind of threw the ball all over the place. The defense against Middle and South Florida, they've only allowed 10 points. Texas is another story. They didn't get any pressure on the quarterback in week 2. They got some sacks on Saturday. What's your observations from this defense? Is it could this potentially be a group that's not getting enough credit at this point?
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think that this defense, for the most part, has been, at least between the offense and defense, they've been the better side by far. They created way more opportunities for the offense to score for what we've seen against, especially against Texas in the first half when they had, I think they had 4 or 5 red zone drives, and we only allowed them to score 1 touchdown. So the fact that they were able to do that and deny it and play over, I believe, at least over 80 or 90 snaps, you're going to get tired. When you play over 80 and 90 snaps, especially against Steve Sarkisian, he is one of the best play designers and he's one of the best play callers in the country. He's going to find those particular matchups at some point when you keep giving opportunities, and he's going to expose it. And that's exactly what happened with us against Texas during that game. In the South Florida game, it was almost kind of the exact situation. We kept giving our offense opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. We kept getting good field position on the offensive side of the ball, and for the most part, for the majority of that game, the offense really couldn't capitalize. So, this defense is a lot better than I think than it actually is. I actually think it's a much better unit than what it was in 2021. I think the secondary is way more aggressive. They're way better in run support compared to last year. I like what I see from Terry and Arnold. Malachi Moore has definitely stepped up to the plate. Caleb Downs is leading this team in tackles, I believe. And of course, he's made some mistakes, and I know a lot of people are it's that highlight of him getting ran over. But I mean, for the most part, Caleb Downs is going to be an All-American. He's going to be an All-American football player. He's a true freshman. And the fact that he's actually been one of our best run defenders, I think that can just go to show you, man, just the talent that Caleb Downs can display. He can play the pass and the run. So I think the secondary has actually got some major improvement and guys with a lot of experience. Jalen Key is a guy that has been a pretty big contributor in the secondary, right? He's been a pretty big contributor in the secondary if you just look at those Pro Football Focus grades. So I like that. Our inside linebackers, I think, have been the strongest point of this defense. And again, I don't even think they're being really utilized correctly. I think a lot of those guys, instead of just blitzing them straight off the A or B gap, you could literally get these guys off the edge. Jahad Campbell, Quindarius Robinson, Kendrick Blackshire. You can make an argument that Quindarius Robinson might just be the best pass rusher on the team as an inside linebacker. And if we can just use those guys a little bit off the edge, just like how LSU uses Perkins and how Texas uses Anthony Hill, right? Those freakish, quick quick burst, like athletes, just get them off and just let them just let them play free. Very similar to how we did with Rashaan Evans during 2015, 2016. I think we can get more pass rush production out of those guys than what we are right now. So you can make an argument that we're still not really utilizing the players to the best of their ability. The only problem that I have with this defense is the defensive line. Chris Braswell and Dallas Turner, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on between those two. Chris Braswell, once again, is struggling a little bit to play against the run. Dallas Turner is not really being as an effective pass rusher as we thought he could be. And then the interior defensive line is not playing terrible, but they're definitely not playing up to the standard. Tim Keenan is a phenomenal run defender, but he's a poor pass rusher. Timothy Smith, for the most part, and for the most part, Jaheim Otis, extremely talented guys. I think Jaheim Otis has had way more production, but these are guys that take plays off. These are guys that take snaps off. They're not putting as much effort into it. They're not as consistent as we would want them to be. So we have our problems, including depth in the rotation with our defensive front. So that's got to get better. That's the weak point of this team, and that's a crucial point if we want to try to get to where we want to get to. But no, I think overall-wise, the defense has definitely played way better compared to 2021, and they're going to be in the run game, and that defense is going to be a big part if we want to try to get to where we want to be at.
I appreciate the call in, Jarek. You're doing a great job, man. We'd love to have you on the Coaches Show. I know you'll be back on Monday night, man. Keep doing your thing. Shining star, man. Big fan of your work. Keep grinding. Keep the hustle. Keep being authentic. And we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, Kyle, man. Shout out to Coach Smoot. Shout out to Coach Sean. Monday night quarterback. Can't wait for it, guys.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. That's my boy Jarek from Buffalo. I want the channel to continue to grow. I mean, those are the type of people that I want on the team. I like the perspectives. I like the authenticity that Coach Sean, Smook, Jarek, that they bring. Have some other people that I have in mind as the channel grows. So hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and want to build something special here at Bama Football on YouTube. Here are the statistics. I'll get to my next callers. I got four. I got 205, 251, and a 973. Hang tight. I'll be with you guys inside the call queue in just a second. Here are the statistics against South Florida. Just kind of refresh. I like the stats on the board. Big stats guy. I kept stats even when I was in elementary school. When I played elementary basketball, I'd keep all the stats of all the teams. Just a stat freak. Numbers tell a story. This running game got going in the second half of that game. Roydell Williams eclipsed the 100-yard mark. He was the first running back to do that this season. 129. Feed him. Touchdown. Longs to 48 yards. Jason McClellan, 74 yards. The quarterbacks, it was less than stellar. I think at one point they were 5 of 17 for 34 yards or something like that. Buckner, 5 of 14, gets yanked. Simpson comes in, 5 of 9, 73 yards. Highlight was the 45-yard pass that he threw to C.J. Dupree. Most of those yards came through the air. It was a nice ball. He missed on a couple. He threw a couple balls that were not as accurate as he'd like them to do, but, he did what he had to do, and he won a game in a small sample size. I'd like to see what he could do with the ones all week and see if he could, lead Alabama to a victory in SEC play. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's kind of something that we're going to have to figure out this week. It's going to be who's going to start, and Coach Saban's going to say, I don't know. I have no idea. It's going to be based off pride and performance. And I guess, that will be determined on Saturday. So we have no idea who's going to be the starter. Maybe we'll see even some Dylan Lonergan. I have no idea. The receivers right now against South Florida, Isaiah Bond had 4 receptions for 42 yards, and then everybody else had a catch. So it was C.J. Dupree had 1 for 45. Burton had 1 for 7. Jace 1 for 6. Robbie 1 for 5. Roydell 1 for 2. Malik Benson 1 for 0. On the other side, South Florida, 23 carries, 114 yards for Brown. He was also the quarterback, 14 of 28, only 87 yards. Hats off to the defense for allowing less than 100 yards. And then receiving, Atkins had 6 for 42. So that's how the statistics looked against South Florida. Kyle Henderson at Bama Football on YouTube. hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'll get to my callers in just a second. I want to run through the Pro Football Focus numbers against South Florida. Those are always fun to look at. By now, you've probably seen me break up Pro Football Focus. So starting at the top left, Caden Proctor. Position is left tackle, 66 total plays. His grade was 58.8. Ferguson, all the way to the right, 66.7. Some of the guys who performed a little bit higher, actually Ty Simpson in a small sample size, in 40 snaps, he graded out 78.3. Good stuff for just, coming in off the bench and having to, kind of navigate through, a game that was got a little, strange throughout the lightning delay or all that stuff. But came in and held it down. So good for the kid to come through. Who's that? Robbie Oots, who's also grading out high, 71.9. I was down on the sideline before the game. Dude, Robbie Oots. Oh, I need a full screen. Robbie Oots is an absolute monster. Like, monster. That guy is gigantic. He looked like he was 6'8" down there. He looked like he was 300 plus pounds. This is a monster of a man. Jeez. I think he's like 260. Put on pads on him, he's probably close to 300. Not sure what's up with Amari Knobloch. His Pro Football Focus grade only 39. Jeez. And let's look at the Pro Football Focus grades on the defensive side. And then I'll take some more calls. Caleb Downs, like Jarek said, everyone's going to kind of look at that play where he got bullied. Guy seems to be all over the place. He's second in the team in tackles. He had a grade of 58.5, true freshman. Lawson continues to play at a very high level, 88.3. You also have Chris Broswell, who had 90.3 grade out, and he had a bunch of tackles. I mean, Broswell really came with it. And I thought he played well the first game of the season. So good to see that. Kool-Aid, 81.1, and then Taryn Arnold, 74.7. Those are your Pro Football Focus grades. There at the bottom, you have Chesman Marshall graded out. It looks like the lowest, 55.4 in 33 snaps. I don't think he's graded out well. And I mentioned that earlier on the show, the last two games. So I think we'll have to go back. But if you've been checking out, the inside linebackers, let me know what you think so far about Chesman Marshall. All right, we go back to the phone lines, 205. Let's get it. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from? All right, 251. Let's go. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, what's going on, man? This is Kevin in Mobile.
Hey, what's up, Kevin? I appreciate you calling in, man. What you got for me?
Oh, man, a little bit of football talk about Alabama. How'd you like Tampa?
Oh, I love Tampa. Every time I get to go back to Tampa, it's good weather. Get to smoke a cigar, eat a Cubano, and, I've been there a couple times. The last time I went there, I actually went there for a wedding, and I stayed at the Don Cesar, which is over in St. Pete. So, yeah, I'm a big fan of Tampa. It's always treated me nice, easy flight. Back, I got back early this morning. So, yeah, it's all good, man. I appreciate you asking. What you got, man? Your tech.
Well, yeah, in regards to Tampa and their program down there, they have an excellent program, okay? They've been a damn good football program for a lot of years. People don't realize it. That is the largest school in Florida. How come you don't see South Florida against the Gators, South Florida against Florida State all the time, or South Florida against Miami all the time? You know why? It's the same reason why nobody wants to play Alabama, is because them guys are really good. Now, everybody, you want to play murder ball? I mean, I've heard the term murder ball thrown around in 2023. Have you heard that too?
Of course.
Okay, well, right now we're playing murder ball. So what are these people complaining about? The reason why Milroe is not playing is because he threw 2 turnovers against Texas and cost us the game. From what I've seen yesterday, Ty Simpson is our best quarterback. I think Coach pulled Buckner a little too soon. You know, it was early in the game. He didn't hit a couple of passes, one or two, but he pulled him fairly quick. The reason why Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner are even in the conversation is because Milroe will not stay in the pocket. Milroe does not look down the field and find people. Now, if he wants to play like, what's that, Anthony Richardson, he wants to play like him, then fine. But you see what happens to Richardson. He's been hurt 2 weeks in a row playing that way. You know, that's what Milroe is going to have to do if he gets back on the field. And, you know, I see Ty Simpson being the starter. I like what I've seen. He's hanging in the pocket. He's hitting people. And that's what we are asking for. I think that number two, on offense, the running back, I think he should probably start because he's a little bit more shiftier than number 5 at running back. And number 5 at running back is a bull. That guy, you know, late in the game, he was really shining. He looked really good. I like number 32 at linebacker. I think he played pretty well. And as far as offensive line, you know, they were getting smoked off the edges by little guys. You know, you take a 320-pound guy and put him up against a 225-pound guy that's way faster than him. He's getting smoked. Number 65, that IMG Academy guy, he made him. He didn't do IMG no favors Saturday night by letting that number 0 smoke his ass around the corner. You know, I seen, you know, one play late. I mean, it was abysmal, you know. So, this is murder ball, people. 17-3 is murder ball. And guess what? The wrecking crew is, you know, going to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is next. Ole Miss ain't going to do a damn thing but get their ass whooped. Okay? I like this. I enjoyed the game. You know, I just don't know what people expect. You know, what I expect is us to go and beat the piss out of everybody this year. If 17-3 is what it's going to take to produce football wins for Alabama this year, so be it. I'll enjoy it. I don't know about you. I don't like a 40-42 game or whatever. That's crap. I would rather see Alabama do what they did last night, which was I'm telling you, South Florida is not as bad as you think. They have been a good program for a long time. You know, the sky's falling for all these fair weather Alabama fans that are just used to people scoring 50 points every game. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think that look, South Florida has a rising coach. Last year, this team, I think, won one game or something like that. So clearly, this isn't a team that has had consistency. I think that Alabama's team lacks consistency. And I think that until they find that, we're going to continue to try to guess what type of team this is. I've been asking people throughout the day who gives Alabama the best chance to beat Ole Miss. That's the next team on the slate. I don't think that we've seen a large enough sample size from Ty Simpson. But with that said, if he's given enough practice opportunities this week with the ones, then maybe he could do it.
He played pretty good, man.
The thing about it is, I think if you rely on the running backs, like you said, Roydell Williams and Jace, then you can develop some sort of continuity and you can come out with a dub. But Kevin, I'm gonna move on to my next caller. I appreciate you calling in. You have a good rest of your Sunday night.
All right, bud.
You got Miami and New England about to kick off, man.
Yeah, man, I'm on it.
All right,
Y'all
buddy.
have a good one.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
All right, that was Kevin out in Mobile. We got a 973, a 205, and a 904 inside the call queue. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys calling in. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. And, I think this game against Ole Miss is going to be tough. I was really surprised to see that Alabama is favored by 11.5. I just think that the game is going to be much tighter, especially with, the former coaches coming in. And it's a common thing now is like the coaching tree is so wide. But this particular game against Ole Miss, it hasn't been overly challenging against Lane Kiffin, but I think this one is going to be different. If Lane Kiffin can play non-emotional in this game, and what I mean by that is he wants this game so bad, more than anything. He wants to be at Alabama more. That's his ultimate goal. We get that. But the times that he's played Alabama, he's had opportunity for points inside the red zone, and he's gone for it on fourth down. I get it. When you're South Florida, you have to. But Lane Kiffin, he did it in some times that he didn't necessarily have to. The last time was in Tuscaloosa. I'm curious to see what they bring. I was talking to some people from Ole Miss, feel that they're not comparable to where they've been in the past, feel that they're a little bit down, but they're 3-0. Looks like they're having fun. They had the fire extinguisher going, with the young man, and he's like the happiest dude on social media. So, look, I think it's going to be much tighter than 11 points. So we go back to the phone lines, and it's a 973. Let's get it going. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, Chris from New Jersey.
Hey, Chris, man, what's up? Good to hear from you again.
Well, listen, you and I spoke about this right after the Texas loss.
Yeah.
Start Buckner in the first quarter, Simpson in the second, the better plays in the second half. Now, it didn't go exactly like that, but listen, I want to just say this. I watched your after show. The boys on your after show. They were so negative about Ty Simpson. Mm-hmm. I think Ty Simpson's going to get the first team reps all week. He's going to go in there with confidence. The offensive line is going to get a wake up call because they're getting beaten down in the tape room and the film room. The poor freshman's getting yelled at like every other play, and they're going to get a great plan. And Ty Simpson's going to lead Alabama to a win next Saturday. So tell your boys on the after call. They should go. The first thing they should do is all three of them should go, I apologize. We were wrong. Ty Simpson's the quarterback for the rest of the year. Jalen Milroe, I'll say it again. Love the guy. Mm-hmm. He is not going to take us deep into the SEC. He doesn't move. He doesn't set his feet. He doesn't make the reads. We got to move on. Now, Buckner is a 4-string quarterback. So I'd say hop Lonergan over him. And listen, this week, I pray they put in a Wildcat package for Milroe. I mean, throw him in the game. Get Golding on his heels. We know that, as our guy, we were on our heels a lot. Listen, I'm a lot more bullish on Bama. I mean, so many people are down. There's a lot of season left. We still have Saban. And listen, these guys, people get down on some. They're so down on Ty Simpson. He didn't take the first team reps all week. Mm-hmm. No, Buckner must have, right? Mm-hmm. And he might have still been, barely. He's going to take the first team reps all week. They're going to be in his ear. He's going to be confident like when he was in high school. He by the way, he sets his feet and he was making the reads. He got sacked 5 times. All 5 times were not his fault. Milroe got sacked 5 times, and at least three of them were his fault. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like I said, I don't want to be down on Milroe because he's a really nice kid, quality human being. But listen, you got to talk to your boys in the after show because what they were saying was 100% wrong. And when they're wrong next week, now listen, I'll call in if I was wrong, but I think Ty Simpson's going to lead Alabama to a victory next Saturday.
Ty Simpson. All right, got it. On with Chris from New Jersey. I appreciate the call. Simpson leads Bama to victory. Future headlines. Look, I think that the thing about it is when I think about this game yesterday, he came in and he he had to manage the game. He didn't have to overtake the game. So Alabama put Ty Simpson in, and they controlled the rest of the game, right, by running the football. If he has to win the game, that's a different game plan. And we haven't seen him in that game situation yet. So I think that you go into this SEC game, and I think you come, I'm sure the coaches have already talked about it, who's going to be the starter for this next week. Build out some game plans around it. It's clearly between Simpson and Milroe. Buckner is no longer in the equation. You maybe even mentioned, hey, we have Dylan Lonergan just in case. But, maybe you give Simpson the opportunities and see how, he can get something going. Because the one thing that this offense just hasn't had yet is a lot of momentum consecutively. It's just that just has been lacking. And you're going to need that against Ole Miss because I promise you, Coach Saban is probably going to mention this again, street fight. I can see this game going back and forth. I can see weird things happening. It's going to. Lane Kiffin, is a mastermind at getting, creative with it. And that's something that kind of going back to Tommy Rees that he seems to lack. I was watching, as I mentioned earlier, everybody, I was watching the 49ers play. And the thing that's so amazing about Kyle Shanahan is how creative he is with the offensive weapons that he has. And I get it. You have Deebo Samuel, you have George Kittle, you have Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, there's almost too many guys, but they all get the ball in creative ways. And the thing that he's not scared to do is he's not scared to put his best players in different positions. For example, he'll split out CMC, Christian McCaffrey, to a wide receiver position. He'll put Deebo in the backfield. The best athlete on the field, I think we can all agree, regardless, is Jalen Milroe. 100%, right? Whether he can read offenses or he can throw the deep ball, the dude is phenomenal. The best player between South Florida and Alabama did not play one single play. So I'm kind of leaning towards the fact that he must have been suspended or concussed or whatever is happening. Figure out a way to get him on the field, period. Like, this isn't anything against his intellect or his inability to do whatever. Like, the best players need to play. And if he's one of the best athletes in the field, Tommy Rees needs to figure out how to utilize him. I don't know if it's a wildcat, and sometimes when you label these people as wildcats, it's like you take away that they can't understand stuff. No, like, figure out how to get him the football. Because if you remember, back during the Sugar Bowl, there was a clip that was released, and Alabama got pissed off about it because he was catching passes as a wide receiver. Go back and look it up. You can type it in right now. Jalen Milroe catching passes as a wide receiver.
I remember that. I remember that.
Look, who gives?
I do.
Get him the football in his hand because, look, the most electrifying play through 3 games, through 12 quarters of play, was the first touchdown of this season. When it didn't come from the air, it came from Jalen Milroe on the ground. When it was a missed snap and he got the ball and nobody could touch him. Figure out a way to get him the football. Figure out, design the offensive line to where you can protect him, whatever you can do. If it's Ty Simpson, then so be it. I don't know. But, got to figure out a way to put more points on the board. 17 points against South Florida isn't going to cut it. It's not going to be Ole Miss. It's not going to be Mississippi State. People are going to have Alabama on the ropes. I expect a street fight going on. Texas A&M on the road is going to be complete hell. It's going to be very challenging every single game. That's why I'm just looking at Ole Miss. This is going to be a very challenging game for Alabama, 100%. Chris, make another point, man, before I move to my next caller.
Yeah, the one I heard one of your maybe your show yesterday. I watched it today. Why don't we flip flop Latham to left tackle? I just. I don't understand. You put this poor. I mean, this kid. Nobody should be down on Caden Proctor. That guy is going to play in the NFL. He's an NFL prospect. He's a freshman. He's thrown in. He's playing against basically NFL caliber for Texas. And even, let's face it. Some of those guys from Florida, they're going to the NFL. That and your prior caller is right. They get a lot of, transfer portal guys from all over the place coming back home. That's a hotbed for football, high school football. We all know. So, how about flipping around the offensive line a little bit instead of messing around with the guards? I saw they finally put Ferguson in there, but they were forced to because Booker had back spasms. How about some creativity with the line? I mean, the one guy just completely beat Proctor, and he nailed Ty Simpson. I was like, we don't want our quarterback hit like that. Any of the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I mean, Simpson, like I posted on social media. I don't post a lot on social media. You guys can follow me on Twitter, Bama, YouTube. And then my Instagram is Mr. Kyle Henderson. I tweeted out an image, or it was a video of Ty Simpson getting completely destroyed, like to where he could physically get hurt. And it was Caden Proctor missing a block and actually pushing the edge rusher into Simpson, clearly not on purpose, but that's the kind of the way that the block edged out. And Simpson was crushed. And 2 plays before that, Simpson was on his back throwing away a ball because the pressure was coming up the middle. Saban did say after the game that South Florida had a ton of exotic blitzes or whatever. What do you think Pete Golding's going to do? Pete Golding knows who's on this team. He knows Ty Simpson. He doesn't know Tyler Buchner, but Buckner's not going to play. He knows Jalen Milroe, right? So Lane Kiffin studies Coach Saban. He reads, about Coach Saban every single night before he goes to sleep. Right before he goes to bed, he's like, "Where's my Saban?
Yeah.
Where's my Saban nighttime book?" And after he does the Book of Gratitude, and I think because he wants to be in this position. And watch the Monday press conferences that Lane Kiffin does. See how he's like all high energy. He actually does mimic Coach Saban on his Monday press conferences, and he goes, "Oh, well, I don't know like what we're gonna do and how we're going to beat Alabama and this and that, and it's just going to be really tough to beat Alabama. It's going to be really challenging." But he's not like that. But he emulates it. I'm telling you. All right, Chris, I got to move to the next caller, but I appreciate you calling in.
All right,
and
great job. Yeah, as always, Kyle. Great job. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you. All right, take it easy. We got Elizabeth in the house. What's up? $50 super chat. This is the studio that she built. Good evening. Just joined. Ole Milroe an apology. The O-line is much bigger issue than I initially thought. I don't think that Simpson or Buchner could have gotten us 24 points against Texas. That's a great question, kind of in retrospect. Do you think, clearly Buchner couldn't. Do you think Simpson could have? Do you think Simpson could have put up the fight against Texas? Yeah, hindsight's, it's tough, right? Retrospect is tough because it's just hypothetical. Can you stay away from, the turnovers? Because that's what ultimately cost Alabama, along with the 10 penalties, along with, just drive killers. And that's something that Coach Saban has been talking about a lot, is drive killers. But yeah, I appreciate you stopping in, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate your continued support throughout this entire football season. You're right. Let me hear from you inside the comment box. In retrospect, do you think Simpson or Buchner could have put up 24 points against Texas? We really haven't seen too much for Simpson. They barely even let him throw the ball downfield. Missed on one, and then he hit, C.J. Dupree on a very nice pass that was 45 yards. So, I don't know. Still need more of a sample size from Ty Simpson. And, in fact, here are the quarterback stats. I like this big chart right here because you can see the stats overall. This is through 3 games. Let's look at that full screen. You can see that Jalen Milroe up top, he was 13 of 18 for 194 yards with 3 touchdowns, sacked 2 times for 16 yards. His efficiency rating was 217, right? We're like gasping for that now. Against Texas, different story. 14 of 27, 2 interceptions, 51%, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 sacks. Efficiency rating goes down to 140. Tyler Buchner gets in against middle, 3 of 5. Nothing really to talk about there. And then against South Florida, he was 5 of 14, 35% completion percentage. He was yanked. Ty Simpson, 1 of 1 against middle. Not too much. He actually rushed for a touchdown, as did Buchner in the first game. And then against South Florida, he barely did anything. 5 of 9, 73 yards, 45 was his longest, but he was sacked 5 times. Like Chris was saying, a lot of that wasn't on him, but those are the statistics. I was I was reading the comments earlier today from my earlier show, and Coach Sean is saying that you can't necessarily adjust the offensive line at this time. You can't move JC and put him on the left side. So something needs to happen on the left side. Whoever's behind him, if that's Pritchett, I don't know, get him in. But this is crazy. Proctor beat out Pritchett. Something needs to happen because the left tackle is going to get one of the quarterbacks killed. Probably Simpson. So Simpson needs to figure it out. If he's going to be the guy going forward, the left tackle position needs to improve. We go back to the phone lines, and we'll take our next call. It's at 2:05. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hi, Kyle. This is Terry again from Northport. I was just wanting to call you back and try to clarify what had happened earlier. I'm the guy that called and told you that I had heard, but I did not believe when I was told this that Jalen had been under some kind of internal suspension because of his attitude the week before, whenever Buckner started getting the majority of the first team reps. And I didn't believe that until I heard the press conference, and the part of the press conference, the post-team press conference that you played, you were way toward the end and not at the beginning. And I'm sorry, it wasn't a question that was asked by Chase Goodbread. It was asked by someone else. And you can barely hear the reporter ask him, but he says, Coach, what was your thinking in playing Tyler and Ty but not playing Milroe? And then Coach Saban says, I think that it is an internal team thing, and he goes on and explains it. I have it keyed up, and I've got the phone on speaker and can play it if you want to hear it. I don't want you to get a strike or anything, but it's
no.
It's
Terry, let's
2 minutes.
Hold on, Terry.
7 seconds into his into his press conference when he says his first words. It's right after he talks about someone having back spasms.
Okay. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to load Coach Saban's press conference right now. And so it's at 2:57. Is that what you said?
It's at 2:57. You can barely hear the reporter ask the question. I really had to turn the volume way up and put in my earphones to hear the question. But the reporter asked the question, and then Coach Saban, the reporter says, why did you play Tyler and Ty, but not play Jalen Milroe? What was your thinking? And Coach Saban explains that. It's 2 minutes and 57 seconds.
All right. Okay. So what we're going to do right now, fam, is we're going to listen to that clip from Coach Saban right here, and then we'll bring it back to Terry. So I'm going to take myself off, and let's go Saban full screen. 2:57. Coach, open and straight. Terry, I want you to hang tight real quick, okay? Just let's listen to this video. Just hang tight.
I think 74 has a lot more confidence when he's in there, so hopefully we'll get him back next week as well.
What was Tyler's injury?
I'm sorry?
What was Tyler's injury, Booker? Tyler's injury, Tyler Booker's injury.
Yeah, it's back spasms.
And as far as the quarterbacks, what went into playing Tyler and then Ty, but not playing Booker this year?
All right, so the reporter, I have my headphones on. These are really good headphones. He says, what went into playing Tyler and Ty, but not playing Jalen Milroe? That's what he says. So here's what Coach Saban has.
Well, I think that's an internal team thing. I think that everybody has the opportunity to respond in the right way when, things don't go exactly like you want them to. And, we play the guys that practice the best all week long.
How would you evaluate?
All right, so there you go. That was the clip you're talking about, right, Terry?
The clip, and after I heard that, after what my friend told me, that he said he knew it happened. He works at the university, but you know how that goes. Everyone has a source.
Sure.
I didn't believe him until I saw that Jalen didn't go in the game, and I kept thinking, man, they're going to put Jalen in because he is our best hope. And then after hearing this, it just seems like he kind of addressed it in a roundabout way. It sounds like Jalen was in his doghouse for some reason. But what do you think after hearing that?
I think you're probably right. It sounds like you're right, but I mean, it's hard to say that this or that because I mean I can't confirm it. I've asked some people,
Yes.
Close to the program, but, people are pretty tight-lipped about that. Sometimes it's better just to wait for Coach Saban to address that, for example, tomorrow, rather than like go off on it on Sunday night, right? Because it sounds like we have the stuff together. So this is what I predict is going to happen. There's enough people talking about this that it will be addressed tomorrow during Monday's press conference. And then, we'll kind of move from there. But I think it's worth, searching out, certainly, because you're right. I mean, he says an internal thing, and it makes sense. I mean, considering the timing. We didn't hear about Jalen being concussed. That was kind of the other thing that was floating around, and usually you hear about stuff like that, kind of going into that game. So, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was like, I think I even posted on Twitter. I was like, put Jalen Milroe in, win this game, and get the hell out of Tampa, because like you need to win this game, period. There's no just put him in. And because if Jalen Milroe plays in that game, I think, can we all agree that Alabama wins by what, like 21 or something like that?
Yes, I was screaming at the television, please put in Jalen.
Yeah.
Please put in Jalen.
Yeah, so it kind of makes sense when you look at it, but I don't know. I mean, probably something that we follow up on, and of course, if something does come out, which I'm probably sure it will, but right now it's kind of like Brad is saying in there, it's kind of like speculation at this point. But if you piece things together, it does look like there is something more to it. Anything else while I have you on, Terry?
Well, I was just going to say that if this is the case, this may be something that Coach Saban doesn't ever address, because it sounds like he wanted to handle it behind the scenes.
Yep.
He didn't want to make it public.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to teach Jalen a lesson, try to help him maybe grow up a little if he did kind of pitch a fit about losing some reps, and say, look, we've got to do what's best for the team. And so hopefully Jalen will get his head on, and I think he's our best chance to a win. And I hope he goes on and plays, and we have a wonderful season. But look, I love your show, and thank you very much for taking my call. Okay?
All right, appreciate it, Terry. Take it easy, buddy.
Goodbye.
All right, that was Terry calling in for Northport. Yeah, and I mean, look, if it's some sort of internal deal, it's like that's how it's going to be handled, and we kind of just move forward. And I'm sure there's more times than not these things happen, but there's clearly a reason why he didn't play. And I think Coach Saban's also giving these guys another opportunity for another quarterback to take the bull by the horns and see if another quarterback could gain momentum. And then when Ty was put into the game, they didn't need Ty to do too much. They needed him to win that game, close it out, be like a closing pitcher or a mid-relief, and he did just that, and I thought he did well. All right, we got a 904, a 256, and a 615 inside the call queue. We'll continue to cruise right down the calls right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and we go right back to the phones with the 904, and we start right now. Hey, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Edward from Jacksonville.
Edward, thank you very much for calling. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I heard that too in the press conference, and that was my impression as well. And just not taking a shot at him, but if a quarterback thinks he owns the team and the job, and he loses a game by 10 at home with 2 interceptions, then he does need to get his mind right. Because he doesn't have a clue. That's unacceptable. First of all, Saban will never accept the interception. He does not like quarterbacks who throw interceptions. Okay, he'd rather go with a lesser talented guy that doesn't throw interceptions. Okay, that being said, Jalen has had probably the 5 best plays we've seen all year, and then you throw in the pass by Ty, that's 1. So the guy's obviously more explosive. He's more explosive, and he's the guy, he's putting together the big plays, but his problem is the interception. So to me, it's just clear that we don't know who the quarterback is we need to go with at this point. And I say you got to play them both. You absolutely have to play both of those guys. Even though it's inconvenient to do so against a team as good as Ole Miss, you have to play both of those guys. Milroe's got to stop throwing interceptions. He's got to stop turning the ball over. And we've got to figure out whether Ty can actually be explosive enough, go downfield enough, and score enough points to win games in the SEC. We don't know this. So we got to play. I don't care if you alternate them every series. They need to both play, and we need to figure out who exactly can get the job done. You can't overlook the fact that Milroe has just thrown 5 or 6 passes 50 yards downfield on a dime. There are a lot of quarterbacks can't do that. So you can't ignore that fact. And, we just don't have enough of a sample size on Ty. So that's my feeling on it.
Yeah, and I kind of think about that as well. Is like it's hard to judge or gauge Ty from this last game, right? You put him in, and like I've kind of made the stance already that I think Milroe should be the guy going into Ole Miss. But with that said, I don't think we should discount anything that Ty did. And if the coaches feel that Ty is the right guy going into this next game, the first SEC game, then I understand that because maybe they saw enough from him during that game against South Florida, along with, all week with the ones, to put him in that situation. And then you go right back to Jalen as the number 2 if he gets into trouble or if Alabama can't find any sort of consistency. Because I don't think there's anything that Ty did in that game. I mean, yeah, the sacks, getting sacked 5 times, but the offensive line is straight trash right now, right? I mean, they're not protecting anybody. So I don't think there's anything in that game. There was one thing that stood out to me, and I talked about this earlier in my show. It seems like he just wasn't prepared enough. He kept looking to the sidelines, and that's another thing is like Tommy Reese is up in the box, and so is Kevin Steele. And someone brought this up earlier is that those guys are up in the box. I get it, for a better vantage point. When you're sitting up top, you can see the field much better. But I think sometimes those guys say that, they're afraid to be ripped by Saban, on national TV like he's done in the past. But it doesn't seem like Saban's really doing that anymore. So I don't know if that would help if those guys go down to the field to have better connection with their players. I don't know. I mean, like if you're an offensive guy, you can see the field 100% from the press box. So I don't know if that has anything to do with that. With that said, I mean, we kind of go back to like, okay, if you have a better vantage point, then what's going on with the play calling? They took no shots downfield, against South Florida. Not that they necessarily had to, but I think that would have, if you go deep to Bond or something like that, get creative with it, that spurs momentum. Against Texas, there wasn't really anything too creative, no misdirections, nothing to really your speed players. I know 2 touchdowns were taken away. So I don't know. I mean, but look, the interceptions and the turnovers, they're going to cost Alabama, but so are the sacks, so are the penalties. There's a lot to digest. There's a lot of finger pointing going on right now. I don't know how the leadership is on this team.
Well, yeah, the thing is, sorry, I was just going to say that the thing is you judge the play based on the play, not by the overall, because, I mean, I've heard people say, well, it wasn't Jalen's fault. It was the line. But it was the line a lot of the night. But the 2 interceptions were not the line's fault. It was his fault. So you got to break down every play, and, everybody makes mistakes. But I'll tell you about the line. The line is fat. Some of the guys on the line are overweight. They're just overweight. So they don't have the speed or the endurance because they're carrying 20 or 30 pounds too much. So that's my view on the line. And they shouldn't have been allowed to report that way, But anyway, that's all I got, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for calling in. Thank you so much. We'll get to you next time. All right. Good call from Jacksonville, Florida. Got us a couple super chats to thank. Again, Mike, thank you so much for the 99-cent spot. Elizabeth, thank you very much. $50 in the can. Really appreciate it. And then Michael, DJ Smitty with a 5 spot. Bama needs to stick with Milroe, develop him, and he will ball out next game. Bama 6-point favorite. You also got Titan guy with the 199 spot, and then you have Joseph Washington, Kevin from Mobile with the coat move over, hype in South Florida. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. We got calls coming up from 256, 615, and 678. We got a 256, and we'll jump right into it right now. Hey, good evening. Thank you very much for calling in. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, this is Greg from Athens, Alabama.
Greg from Athens. Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you calling in. Take it away.
Hey, man, thank you. I found you on YouTube, and I really enjoy your show, and I'm a huge Alabama fan. So I think what it's boiling down to is honestly, our offense, Tommy Reese has no creativity. He doesn't know what to do with the offense. I mean, I get it, our offensive line struggling. So let's just say that Ty Simpson starts Saturday for whatever reason. Please put somebody out with a left tackle like a Oots or somebody to chip, give him some help. Or use it against him. If they're going to blitz from there, let's kick it out to him. Have some check downs. It was like we have no check downs to the running backs or anything simple for these quarterbacks. I think we started off Milroe the first game with some easy throws. I think Ty Simpson needs that because I guarantee he is the best pure passer that we have, except maybe the freshman could be as well. We've seen him, but he is definitely the best pure passer that can throw it deep, make the throws. He's just got to make quicker decisions. Design something for him. That's his job. But here's the thing. Even if you have Ty Simpson, please have a package for Milroe to come in when we're on the 20, run some RPOs. And why in God's name we're not running a ton of RPOs for Milroe, I have no idea. I thought we'd see a ton of that. Yep. We're seeing none of that. Mm-hmm. But have a package for it. If it's 3rd and 1, he's Tim Tebow. Give him the ball, go right up the middle. It's a first down every time. Go fast, maybe run another play. Or 3rd and 2, 4th and 1. Milroe is your best back to keep a drive alive. But have that package if Ty Simpson's a starter. Keep it easy for him. Get him to the tight end. Make the throws down the field. The receivers aren't the problem. The receivers aren't the problem. The offensive line is not giving time. They all have to have better pocket presence to move up and when to run and when not to. But if Milroe is the starting quarterback, I don't have a problem with that at all. He doesn't need to make these throws that he threw those picks on. He needs to be in the middle of the field. We need to be running RPOs. What happened to the slant when we had Tua? We had all these quarterbacks. We're throwing slant after slant after slant after slant. I don't know why we're not throwing slants. They're easy reads. They're quick. They come out. And if you've watched any NFL and if you've watched the Colts, what they're doing with the Florida quarterback, Richardson, why aren't we doing more stuff like that with Milroe? Why that wasn't even thought of 2 and 3 months ago? I mean, it's just the concepts that we're running where their quarterbacks are terrible. I mean, terrible. I wasn't a big fan of this hire. The Notre Dame offenses were terrible. They were boring. They didn't score a lot. And guess what? We are too. It's hard to watch. It's really hard to watch. And I don't think Proctor really doesn't need to be a left tackle, or like the caller before said, we have gained weight. Our linemen were not this big last year. Someone has told them to gain 25 pounds. And they can't move. They can't protect. They can't slide. It's just a combo of things that are making the offense really struggle. And I think Coach Saban really's got to have a little heart-to-heart with the offensive coaches. I'm not a big fan of our line coach. We've been terrible since 2020 or 21 since the national championship. We've had 2 swing and miss hires on the offensive line coach. That we just haven't had any development. I'm not real big on our defensive line coach, our outside linebacker coach. Overall, our coaching staff, if you ranked this staff compared to all the staffs we've had since 2007, would be the worst by far as development, as far as just making adjustments. It's just hard to watch. The last 3 years, we've gotten worse and worse and worse.
On the line with Greg calling in from Athens. I appreciate you calling in, and I appreciate the support. And I think you bring up some good points regarding the offensive schematics of it, and kind of just I'm curious to get people's opinions. When we start to look through the sample size, because now we're starting to look at the statistics, the Pro Football Focus, the offensive line, the lack of protection, this quarterback debacle that we're in. And man, you reminded me of those slants when we had Tua, when Tua was here.
Yeah.
Because those were deadly. Can you, surely Isaiah Bond, right? Like someone like the thing was those RPOs. And the thing about it is Jalen is, I think if the RPOs were more emphasized, it could be dangerous here.
Absolutely. I think he could make that the quick read. The quick read.
And that's what,
I mean,
maybe they're scared about that because he can't read. I have no idea, but I mean, you have the players to do it. And this is the thing that is aggravating is like we were waiting for these wide receivers to do their thing this fall camp, and now they're doing it. Like people in the comment box, I agree with you guys. You know who's playing at a very high level,
Yes.
and we are hypercritical of him going into the season is Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton, like if somebody can get him the football, he's playing at a very high level.
Oh, yeah.
He's playing at an NFL,
Exactly.
like he's ready for the NFL. I'm glad he came back. Because last year he wasn't. This year, by the time he goes in the NFL draft, I don't know where he's going to go, but somebody's going to be happy when they land up with him. And I'm glad that he worked on his craft.
Oh, absolutely.
Malik Benson, I mean, my goodness. Like, that guy has the DNA to also be an NFL-type player. Can't get him the football.
Yeah, he's getting better.
Isaiah Bond has the speed.
Number 6.
Kobe Prentice?
Yeah.
Kobe Prentice, I mean, he
Kobe
didn't even
Prentice,
catch
we
a
ran slants.
Didn't even catch a pass
we
last
ran
game.
slants with him last year with Bill O'Brien, but
Yeah.
nobody's even tried to slant this year. I mean, I've just been so shocked with Milroe and what he can bring to the table.
Yeah.
I get it, But here's the thing also I think the coaches are thinking. Now with, we've changed the rules. It's not the clock doesn't stop on first down. You don't get as many possessions. So now turnovers are a huge, huge thing. And look, our defense we don't cause turnovers like we used to. Back in the 2010s, 12s, 14, 16, 17s, when we were getting pick six, causing fumbles, and doing all that stuff. We don't do that anymore. We just, for whatever reason, the last 3 or 4 years, it's just dried up. So we're always if we turn it over, we don't cause enough to at least make it even. So we lose that stat about every game. But we didn't turn it over yesterday, and I get it was sloppy, but I just don't understand. And here's the other thing I have a problem with this team. Our teams, our big bad boy teams, our bully teams that we had, did they ever talk in the press about murder ball? Did they ever come out and say anything like what they're going to do to these people? No. Never. No. They didn't have to because you just didn't do that. I think these guys are trying to convince themselves that they're like players of 7, 8, 10 years ago. And they're just not. And I honestly, I think a lot of it is the evaluations and recruiting has went down. We don't have maybe the best evaluators like we used to, even though I know we have them come in the summer. They do camps. We have to, Coach Saban loves to see them in person, and that's great. But we're missing things. We're not getting dogs. We're not getting alphas. We're getting players that, you better have better coaches than what we have to get something out of them, I'm afraid is what's happening. But I've seen it happen the last 3 years. It all started when we couldn't beat these little terrible teams on the road, like Florida that year, struggled with Arkansas. We barely came back from Auburn on a 98-yard drive. I knew then, I'm like, something's not right, and it hasn't been right since.
Good call. I appreciate it. Anything else while I got you on the line? Want to make a final comment or
only thing I can say, I'm going to definitely be watching your show all the time. I think it's great. I love it. I appreciate what you do.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much, Greg, and appreciate your support. And, make sure you become a subscriber, and we'll catch up with you next time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good call from Athens, Alabama. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube, like Brad says right here. Hit the subscribe button. Appreciate it. All the feedback, honestly. We've been here since fall camp. Now we're entering week 4. This is the first game of the SEC slate. I'm excited about it. Following that, Alabama will be taking on Mississippi State. And then you have a road trip to another former assistant under Saban. That's Jimbo Fisher down in College Station. So I'll be down in College Station. I'm actually looking forward to going to College Station. I guess I'm going to fly into Houston. And then you're going to drive to College Station, right? I don't know if you can even fly into College Station. I'm sure you can, but I'm sure that's probably not the route. Elizabeth with another super chat. Appreciate you, Elizabeth. What are your thoughts on Robbie Oots? He kind of reminds me of UGA's Brock Bowers. Do you think he could become a major contributor? So here's the thing. And first of all, I appreciate the super chat. The thing about Robbie Oots, and I said this before the game, or I'm sorry, like earlier on the show, so I was down on the field. So these are the rules, like the media rules work like this. During away games, you can go on the field and film the guys and get some B-roll. B-roll is basically just footage that you have of the players. Home games, you cannot go down to the field at all if you have a press pass. There's recruits that are on the field for the University of Alabama, and if you film recruits, it's an NCAA violation. So the University of Alabama doesn't want you around the recruits when they are at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So it's completely different rules home and away. So I say that to you because I go down to the field at Raymond James, and I'm standing next to Robbie Oots, okay? Robbie Oots is a giant, like an absolute giant. Now, where he differs from Brock Bowers is he doesn't have the speed or the athleticism. He's an H-back, so he's more like a fullback. And that's no disrespect to Robbie. They're just different style of players. Robbie can certainly catch the football. He has good hands, and in fact, he caught a good pass that was a little bit low from Ty Simpson in this game on Saturday. He's an H-back, so that means that they use him in the backfield as a lead blocker. He's very good. He's every bit of 260 pounds, if not more. And I really like that Alabama has him. And if you can utilize him in situations or whatever it is, I mean, this guy is absolutely the truth for sure. So good question regarding Robbie Oots. I mean, Brock Bowers is great, and had the chance to talk with him during SEC Media Days. Quality kid, going to be playing in the NFL. Absolute beast for sure. Different style of players, but Robbie Oots is an H-back, whereas, Brock Bowers is more your traditional tight end and a guy that is certainly incredible. Okay, we go back to the phone lines at 615. Let's do it right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Tom from Nashville.
Tom, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in. Go ahead.
Yeah. Since this is my first time, I got to do the SVP thing.
Yeah,
is that all right?
Yeah, let's do it.
5'9", 190. You got a bell?
Bing. Yeah, so you know what? So so the thing is, and thank you so much for doing that. So when I used to watch the Dan Patrick Show years ago, that's how it would work. So everybody, the first guy who would call in, you would say your height and weight, and then they would ring the bell like you were coming into the ring. So I thank you so much for doing that, because it was my funnest thing to listen to. And one time a guy called in, and they remember Paulie was behind the glass. He forgot to hit the bell, and people were like, what the hell? Ring the bell. The dude just said his height and weight. With that said, Tom, you're on, man. Welcome to the show.
Okay, so I'm a lifelong Alabama fan. And I loved both Jalen and Ty in the spring game. And I thought the best ball thrown came from Ty. I know everybody loves Jalen Milroe. I do too. He is incredibly talented. But Saban through the years would take somebody with a weaker arm that didn't turn the ball over and had great decision, capabilities, like Greg McElroy. I think when he won national championship and he had less than 100 yards throwing, but he had a lot of great decision making, because he's so I think when Saban interviewed Tommy Rees, I think Tommy Rees just pulled the wool over Saban's eyes somehow. I don't know why. I don't know how he got that, because I think everything on the offense has problems. We have a really good defense, finally. I hated our last DC the last 3 years, but we got a good defense that's growing. But everything, like the offensive line, the quarterback play, the mistakes, that's all on him. He's the offensive coordinator. Even if he's not the offensive line coach, he's the offensive line coach's boss. And he needs to get down there and find out what they're doing wrong so we can protect our quarterbacks. If Jalen Milroe had a lot of time, he would be a really, really effective quarterback. But, when I was watching Ty in the second half, I thought, man, what if Milroe was a beast of a wide receiver, like some of those big guys, in the NFL. And I don't know who has the most talent for quarterback, but it seems to me that Ty Simpson, like the very first play he got in the first half, you remember the first play? A linebacker was came right in. He was right in his face, and he immediately knew where to throw the ball away where it wouldn't be intentional grounding.
Uh-huh.
And so I was just in practice. So a lot of times, a lot of the best plays aren't the plays that that get a lot of yards. It's the plays that say, okay, I think this guy has a good decision ability.
Yeah, the thing about Ty Simpson, I mean, his dad is the head football coach at UT Martin. So imagine growing up in that household. He probably had to go. He's probably, eating, his chicken and green beans and breaking down film, with pops. So, he understands kind of the down and distance and the, where to put the ball in certain situations. So I don't, from an IQ standpoint and kind of understanding the schematics, I'm sure he has that down. I think that we've just, like I've said, earlier on the show, we haven't seen too much of Ty Simpson just yet. And we got a good sample size, and he was able to do what the coaches asked him to do. Go out, feed the running backs, make a big throw. He did that. There was a couple of throws that weren't there, but man, those were his first opportunities on a pretty big stage. Honestly, you're at a NFL stadium. You're fighting for your life with South Florida. One turnover in that game, South Florida is taking you to overtime or something. Like you had to escape that game with a W. And South Florida, I'm telling you, I got a super chat in, and this is from Adam. I appreciate all the support, Adam. Thank you very much. You're also a member. You can hit the join button at the bottom of any video to become a fan funder. Kyle, you were at the game. What did you think when you saw them play? Were they motivated or just going through the motions? To me, they looked motivated. I mean, it wasn't I'll tell you who was motivated was South Florida. South Florida, which is they 1,000,000% were excited to play Alabama, felt they could win that game. I mean, I think Alabama, came out with the right mindset, but like South Florida had the momentum. These guys felt like, if you listen to Alex Gollish, his press conference, and I know there wasn't a lot of people that listened to it. We played it this morning or posted on the YouTube channel. He said, he was like, we played good enough football to win that game. He's like, there are no moral victories, but he's like, we played well enough to win. Look,
he said the defense did.
Yeah, he said the defense. Look, I mean, this team won. What they win?
Because the offense didn't do anything.
They really didn't.
The only 3 points they got was on a muff punt.
Exactly. That's why when you came in with Ty Simpson, like a turnover would have spurred that team. That would have been like what happened. So two teams have blasted off from Alabama's season so far. Texas, they won their Super Bowl, right? Like literally, they're going to Steve Sarkisian. They're building a statue of him right now. It's going to be 500 feet tall, and he's going to be standing there, right? Like that's going to be outside in Austin. And then South Florida, he's going to be like, hey, come over to South Florida. We lost to Alabama by 14 points. Come on, like it's just like that's the measuring stick still for college football. Ty Simpson, we need to see more of him. If that's against Ole Miss, then so be it. We need to figure out who can run this team. There's athletes there. The wide receivers are playing at a high level. The running backs are starting to play at a high level. Offensive line, I don't know what's going to happen there. The finger probably needs to start being pointed at Eric Wolford, too. He's a coach that came in from Kentucky and recruited all these giants and that are big and slow. I agree. Like, Caden Proctor has a career in the NFL. So does J.C. Latham. But I don't know. I mean, the offensive line, I have never seen. I felt like fooled because I was excited about this offensive line, just not cutting it by any stretch of the imagination. So unless they start mixing and matching, I mean, Alabama's in street fights for the rest of the way. What else you got, Tom?
Well, yeah, I got one more question for you, and I'll let somebody else get on the line. What percentage over the next two games do you think that they will turn to Dylan? Is that 0?
I no. I saw there was someone who posted this on Twitter. There was so many things that were making me laugh. Someone posted it was Dylan Lonergan. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was Dylan Lonergan, and it was his picture, and he's holding the football. and he was behind glass like a fire extinguisher, and it said "break in case of an emergency." So I don't know. Like
Oh my
I don't
God.
know if we're getting if I think that so I was like envisioning they're like carrying around this case of like Dylan Lonergan, and there's Saban's gonna break it through and let him out. I don't know. And so here's the thing on the depth chart too. It still says Jalen Milroe or Buckner or Ty Simpson or Lonergan. I'm curious to see if they make one additional edit and they remove Buckner from that list. Right? We're starting to make cuts as we go forward, right? I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I mean,
I don't even know if he's still going to be on the team this next week.
Yeah. So anyways, I appreciate the call from Nashville. Call in anytime, and I appreciate your support. All right, man. Take it easy.
All right.
All right, that was Tom calling in from Nashville. We got a 678 and a 256. We'll get to you guys right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Oh yeah, this was the other thing. Is there was a hat. This was a hat going around, and it was a red hat with red text, and it said, "Make Saban mean again." Oh man, I would wear that hat honestly. If there's someone that can get that hat to me, I'd wear that hat but I didn't anticipate him being mad last night. I think the team knows that they're not performing at a high level. It's usually when the team is really good, like a 2020 team or something like that, that he can get on them. But I really haven't seen him get too fired up, right? I mean, it just maybe there hasn't. He's so good at putting out his message. But man, I just that performance, kind of standing by that performance, was just not it because they didn't play well. And I thought they had, different opportunities to put that game away. They didn't. And they escaped. Like I was telling this earlier in my show, like when I met my Uber driver after, he was like, man, South Florida get killed. And I was like, no, I was like, it was pretty close. It was 3-3 at halftime and he could not believe it. He was like, what? And then he was like, man, I should have taken that 31 points. And I was like, man, you could have. Because who would have thought that game would have been tied at halftime? Shoot. Okay, we go back to the phone lines, and we got a 678. We'll start right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
This is Randy from Georgia.
Randy, what's up? Calling from Georgia. We appreciate the call, man. Welcome to the show. Take it away.
Hey, I'm a first-time caller and a long-time Bama fan. And to be honest, we're in trouble. We don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I'm not sold on the line. My thoughts on that is they're fat and slow. Of course, everything that I'm saying has already been said tonight. Those guys need to lose about 20 or 30 pounds each and get some speed in them. Because number 0 on South Florida had a field day against our guys, and I mean, he was behind them before they could move. Our running backs, I mean, they're good. Jace ran several plays to the outside in the first half and gained some yards. Roydell, every time he got the ball, it was up the middle, in between the tackles. I mean, there's no creativity, which brings me to Tommy Rees, and I am not sold on him at all yet. We have got to get creative. And, I've heard 2 or 3 callers say something about we're playing murder ball. Yeah, we are. We're killing ourselves. And the other thing that I was thinking about was our motivation. Our motivation went away when Scott Cochran left. Scott Cochran kept them guys fired up on that sideline during the whole game. When the fourth quarter got here, everybody over was jumping up and down, holding up 4 fingers, and they were motivated. Now, I know Coach Saban says motivation comes from within, but you need some external motivation too. Somebody to get you motivated really helps. I played football all the way through high school, so I know how that works. But we have got to find our identity this year quick, or it's going to be a long, long season.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you start at quarterback this week?
I'm really not sure because from the post-game comments, Coach Saban said that Ty played okay. I mean, that didn't sound too encouraging to me. I think Ty Simpson will get the start, but I think Milroe will get back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of him, I would find a way to get him on the field, if not as the quarterback, but maybe, run him out of the Wildcat or maybe put him as an H-back. The guy is fast. He's quick and shifty. He can gain some yards if you could get the ball in his hands. But we got to have time to do this stuff. And without the line blocking, that's pretty hard to do because everything starts with that line on both sides of the ball. So I'm worried about Mississippi. I watched them the other night playing Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And they didn't look that great to me. Of course, Tech's not that great of a team, but they have improved. But I think it could go either way.
Yeah, I really do. That's why I was surprised to see that Alabama was favored by 11.5.
Yeah, that's we got to score some points.
Yeah.
And we got to give the quarterback time, whoever it is, to look at the field and get the ball to who we need to get them to. Whether it's running backs or if it's, the wide receivers or the tight ends. The quarterback can't do anything if he's running for his life back there. I don't care who's back there.
What's the?
What do you think?
What's the talk from Georgia? Is it Bulldogs going to just run away with everything? I mean, what was kind of the talk maybe this morning or whatever after they were trailing South Carolina and then had to rally back to beat the Gamecocks?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm the biggest Bulldog hater you ever seen in your life. I grew up being a Tech fan, and then when I was in high school, my dream was to play for Bear Bryant. And I became an Alabama fan, and that was back in the late 60s. And I've been a Bama fan since. And, I mean, I'm a diehard Bama fan. So Georgia ain't looked that good from the people that I've talked to. So I don't know. Georgia don't play anybody. Their toughest game this year is going to be Tennessee, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and we saw Tennessee just go down to Florida, right? Yeah. So, I kind of I agree with you. I mean, their schedule is so favorable. I mean, it's just, that's how it works out for them. Randy, I appreciate the call from Georgia. Good context. Call in anytime. I appreciate the support, and I hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Randy calling in from GA. We got a 256 and a 731 in the call queue, along with the 917. Get to you guys right here on Bamboo Football on YouTube. Did you guys watch the Colorado game last night? Colorado State. I used to own a company in Boulder, so and I actually covered the Buffs, the football team. So I saw them under McIntyre was the coach at the time that I was covering the team, and then they kind of made some transitions. And Boulder's an interesting place because there's so many things to do other than football, but they want football, and they've had that success before. And to see them right now kind of in the limelight is awesome, to be honest. Coach Prime doing his thing. And I think the more that Coach Prime gets highlighted, the older Coach Saban looks. It's just how it is, right? I mean, the shades, the allure. I mean, he comes out, who brings Colorado on the field? Like Lil Wayne, right? In a game like that. Where was game day at? Game day was over there. The week before, they're in Tuscaloosa. I think he's just, every time now Coach Prime is featured, I think it just makes Coach Saban look a little bit older in that regard. I do like the fact that Coach Saban linked up with Pat McAfee on Thursday to kind of keep that image out there to that younger group. But right now, Coach Prime is it. And the way that they're playing, they're playing at a good level. I asked this earlier on my morning show or a midday show or whatever it was. And I'm asking you this inside the comment box. Who wins right now? If they play this Saturday, who wins between Colorado and Alabama? Honestly, who wins? Post in the comment box right now. I want to see who you guys think, Colorado or Alabama. All right, we go back to the phone lines, and we do a 256. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
It's Boots from Gunnersville.
Hey, Boots, yeah. Thanks for calling back. We've had you on the call, the show a couple times, man. What's up? Good to have you back. Go ahead, take it away, man.
Hey, Kyle, I tell you what, that Milroe's team, everybody know it, everybody can see it, and I tell you what, I hate to lose a game. I really do, and if they don't start anybody else this week, they ain't gonna have to worry about it. Did you hear me? But anybody starts out him on Saturday afternoon will be a loss to game, so that'd be another loss. So let them go ahead with that crap. If they can't see that them boys is not ready to run that football team, period. It's Milroe football team. He knows how to run it. He was running it fine. Yeah, he threw a couple of picks. You got a man down there making $2 million a year. I guess he's making $2 million. That's about what an offensive coordinator make, ain't it, at Alabama?
Yeah, he's probably making like 2.5. Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you something. You could pay me $200,000, and I guarantee you, I could take him through his season without. I guarantee he wouldn't have 3 picks in 6 or 7 games. And you know why? Because you get back there and work with him. He ain't working with the man. Show the man, look, just throw the ball away then. Throw it out. Let's live another play. He ain't got to make him stupid mistakes. You getting paid 2.5. Hell, I can do it for $500,000. Yeah, look at him. You tell Nick go ahead with that attitude and whatever he want to do down there. But he ain't above getting his head cut off down there. You know what I'm saying? Because the way he looking and the way he trying to coach right now, hell, I just soon have Lane Kiffin or somebody like that up in there. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's about right now. It's about winning. And you're going to mess the team up with 2 boys couldn't hardly complete a pass. One boy sacked 5 times in a quarter. Come on, man. This ain't Texas you're talking about. Yeah, Milroe might have been sacked 5 times, but he sure got away from Texas most of the game. Now, look, leave the boy alone. Everybody get behind him. And if they'll roll with him for 2-3 weeks and let him get this team clicking again, we might have a change. Anything other than that, they can go and do what they want to, but they'll be sitting up looking suck-face come Saturday evening. Now, Kyle, roll tide, and you tell them to leave that boy alone down there, okay? Tell them to leave Milroe alone, and we'll win. Other than that, we're going to lose it. We're fixing to lose. So they can do what they want. Roll tide.
Roll tide to you, man. Thanks, Bootsy. Appreciate it. That's Bootsy calling in from beautiful Lake Gunnersville. Appreciate the call. 731-917, you're up next. Uncle Charles called in earlier today. Man, he dropped it. That was good. We'll recut that. We'll push that out maybe tonight after the show. It was good, man. Good stuff. Good content. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you guys being here. It's been a really good football season. I think we've gotten into a really good flow of things. So I hope you guys are enjoying all the content and, everything that goes into the channel, because I'm really putting my heart and soul to making sure that this is, the best channel that it can be. And I appreciate all the feedback. I go through all the comments and I look at the comments, what you guys are saying about different shows or different videos, whatever. So we want to make sure that we continue to understand and respect your feedback. So 100% appreciate you guys being here. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Michelle Elizabeth is saying that Colorado wins. And let's see who else. I was kind of looking at the comments. Is it Bama by a landslide that you guys are picking? I have to scroll up for the comments. Who's this is saying Shadori will gas you guys up for 400 plus. He's playing at a high level. DW is saying Bama 48, Colorado 10. Davis is saying Bama by 14. And this is what I was asking. Colorado versus versus Bama. Bama by 10. Kenneth saying Colorado. Maybe it doesn't matter. But Bama's ranked number 13. So, anyways, we go back to the phone lines and 731. Let's get it. Yeah, I appreciate you being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, I'm Alex, and I'm from Savannah, Tennessee.
Appreciate you calling in, man. What's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Well, I kind of want the comments to reply to what I had to say too, but you know, what do you think the offensive line should do?
I mean, I said this earlier about the offensive line, that there needs to be some sort of change, specifically at left tackle, because Caden Proctor, I just don't think he's ready yet. I want him to be. I'm excited about a freshman starting. I think he's had opportunities to prove that he could play at this level, and he will be able to, but it's not right now. And, specifically if it's Ty Simpson, Simpson's going to get hurt or, continue to be sacked if he's at that left tackle spot. So Coach Sean said that it's too late to make a switch at line, but this is desperate times we're in, honestly. And if they don't switch up that offensive line, we're going to continue to have that same type of pressure, and it's only going to get worse for Alabama. And specifically for the quarterbacks, there needs to be some sort of pressure. The game plan needs to be changed. You can't be one-dimensional. Defenses are going to continue to feed off this. If South Florida is getting pressure, Texas is beating you with only rushing 3, sometimes 4, these exotic blitzes. What do you think Pete Golding's going to do, who's been here, who understands how to play these quarterbacks? Pete Golding's been here he was here for 5 years? He went against this offense all the time. It's Alabama's playbook or whatever it is. Like, he understands it. He's gone against these quarterbacks before. He knows the strength of Ty Simpson. He knows the strength of Jalen Milroe. Pete Golding is like that one factor that is going to – we're all talking about Lane Kiffin, and rightfully so, because he is this amazing mind of calling plays. And, I do think that he'll probably be the successor of Coach Saban, whenever that is. But, I think a lot of this is on Pete Golding, and Pete Golding is probably going to eat up that offensive line. And he knows the strength of the offensive lineman. Like, he's in that room. He listens to that. So, this is going to be tough this coming Saturday. That's why I'm so surprised it's 11.5, but I don't know. You got to adjust it. You got to make some changes. And I think it starts with taking Caden Proctor out, but then who do you swap in? Pritchett? I mean, didn't Pritchett get beat out by Proctor? That's a scary thing. What else you got, Alex?
I think they need to lose weight. Everybody has been talking about how big our O-line is, but that's, in my opinion, the exact problem. I said this in the comment section like 2 times. Our offensive line is so big they can't move.
Yeah.
And it's just they need to lose weight.
Yeah, I mean,
if I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Like, you can't move anybody out of the way if you can't move 2 steps within like 2 seconds. Like, you just can't. Like, you're going to get beat out because the only way we make the playoffs is if we beat Georgia in the SEC championship, if they make it. But, if USF is getting pressure on us, Georgia's going to have a field day with us. Nick Saban gave them Kirby Smart back when Nick Saban had his best coaching staff ever. And, Kirby Smart knows how to do defense, and he knows how Nick Saban runs things, because I don't believe anything has ever changed. But it's just, we're screwed. If they don't get it in gear, we're screwed.
What else you got from the offensive line? I mean, were you, when you watched that game against South Florida, what'd you think about Roydell Williams? What'd you think about some of the run game? Because that was a good spot. I mean, it was good to see Roydell Williams kind of do his thing, and a lot of respect for the kid. I mean, he's, he could be the main guy at a lot of different places. I guess he is starting to be the main guy here. Him and Jace kind of share that title. But what did you think of the run game against South Florida or in this last game?
I mean, it had its good moments, but it really wasn't that consistent.
Mm-hmm.
We had some good plays, but we also had terrible plays. maybe that was because of the conditions. Maybe that's why we played so god-awful. But who knows? I mean, we got to get this in check. We got to lose weight. We just got to be smarter. We got to focus. And Nick Saban's going to have to do something because right now he's not coaching like the greatest of all time. He's not coaching like he was in 2011. He's not coaching like he was in 2007 or 2009 or any of those years. He's not coaching like that.
Who do you start on Saturday against Ole Miss?
Our only chance, in my opinion, Jalen Milroe, because if the offensive line is not going to hold up, he's the only person that can get away consistently, because he's like, in my opinion, he's the fastest guy on the team. So, he has a strong arm, but and run. I'm doing Wildcat, a bunch of Wildcat. Like I said, the offensive line is huge. That's mainly because we wanted to run the football. That's good for, that's why I think we should run Wildcat, like Randy said. Randy from Georgia said, I believe we should run Wildcat a lot with Jalen Milroe. So,
Alex, I appreciate the call, man. I'm gonna move to my next caller, but thanks for the call, and I appreciate the support, man.
Thank you.
All right, Alex, calling in. We got a 917 and a 251. We'll go right back to the phone lines. 917, let's get it. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Yeah, this is Connor. I'm calling from Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
All right, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. I went up to Muscle Shoals this summer, played some golf, really tough courses up there. So some of those RTJ courses just ate me up. First time up there, I love all the water, man. Good spot, good place to eat, man. I appreciate you calling in. Take it away.
Yeah, I really got a vent. I wasn't one of these guys after the Texas loss. Oh, man, I wasn't in a panic at all. In that sense, yeah, there's things to work on and worry about. But this game, honestly, it symbolized, it just had multiple moments that reminded me of some of my worst feelings as an Alabama fan over all these years. And I guess the thing everyone's talking about, which is the main thing, was Jalen Milroe. Now, I'm kind of hoping there was some kind of suspension because I thought they should have not put Ty Simpson in. After that first half, Buckner should have been gone, and they should have put Milroe back in, and they didn't. And it just gave me flashbacks to that year Tua was hurt. They put Jalen in when they should have put him in earlier because they gave Tua that opportunity the year before. They didn't until he had to come out. Jalen brings us back, wins the game. Then they go right back to Tua, and we lose that year, and it just gave me that feeling. That's my biggest moment with Nick Saban. The only time I ever was like, man, I disagreed with whoever made that decision. I was so mad that year, but this kind of reminded me of that. I just was like, at halftime, I want to see Milroe, and I'll say I don't think anyone's on board with Buckner, but my biggest complaint about Ty Simpson was his good pass of the game was to a wide open guy. I don't think it was that amazing. Nothing. I think any quarterback probably could have made that play. And the thing I'm not with him and why I was with Milroe to begin with was last season, Milroe had the ball 2 times running, defender in front of him. He went head on with that guy and hit him. And then he went head on with 2 guys and hit him and lost his helmet. And that's that Jake Coker feeling. You know what I mean? And to watch Ty Simpson third down and the game's on the line still. We haven't won this ball game yet. And he wants to slide when he's like 2 yards from the first down. I was like, I can't do it. I don't want to see any more of this guy. That's not what we're here to. I get the quarterbacks need to slide, protect themselves. But in that moment in this game, and you're here to prove yourself, I was like, this guy's not it for me, And so I just want to say I really hope they start Milroe next game. I'm going to still watch, but I feel like if they don't, I don't even want to watch the game. You know what I mean? But so that's my big thing. And then I thought the defense played pretty well. Other than it was these other moments in the past where Alabama, like the Ole Miss game we lost, where it was a good play on our part, pressure on the quarterback, it goes off the guy's helmet, and it goes the other way. I felt we had a lot of penetration, and then this quarterback on 40 escaped and got yardage, and clean that up and we'll be looking good. And then the next main thing for me was I'm kind of over McClellan at this point. I don't feel like he has it, and maybe that's us being spoiled with so many great running backs, but I want to see Roydell Williams and the next guys get a chance. I don't think Jace has been too impressive overall, in my opinion, But those were kind of my main points. But, man, that game was I was so frustrated watching that game, and I just hope Nick Saban and whoever's in charge over there gets it together for the next game or can make some improvements. And I do want to hit on one of your callers who just called who mentioned Scotty Cochran. That's one of the most untalked about things that I've seen that I felt for me was one of the biggest losses Alabama's had, you know, where that guy, man, he was like a player. He was like a star player to me when I watched the game. Scotty, you know, he's getting wild. And whatever this apathetic kind of feel we have from this team, like that's what they need, I think, or something along those lines. But I've been rambling a little bit, but that's kind of like my whole take on the game. And I just want to see what we do from here.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. Yeah, I think like Scott brought that energy, right? Like he was kind of like that hype man on the side, getting everybody kind of lit. And I don't know if they have that. David Ballou isn't that type of guy. I'm sure there's some guys, you know, on Alabama's sideline that might have that, but they don't seem to have kind of that emotional leader that he was. He was really impactful. And I know he's went through, you know, some stuff and, you know, kind of rebuilt himself. But yeah, absolutely. Kind of when you look to kind of that hype man, like they don't necessarily have that. I thought, you know, I said this earlier on the show. I think the defense is, you know, they've been playing well. You know, I think that they're going to be they're only going to get better on the defensive side of the ball. And I did like, you know, what they did in this last game. You know, I guess when you look to this offense, I mean, just kind of the same things that we've been talking about. It's just the inconsistency. I guess I didn't ask you, Connor, who do you I think Uncle Charles said this earlier. It was like, if you broke your TV, he was like, you're probably going to break your bed and light your house down on fire by the end of the season, because it was like, you know, the frustration. Man, I get it. Like, people were so frustrated by that last game. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even believe that I was typing that it was 3-3 with South Florida at halftime. Just, you know, things that you don't see, but there's still time. But look, I get it. Like, if you get into a street fight or you lose against Ole Miss, it's going downhill fast. Connor, there's a little bit of feedback, man. I'm going to break out, man, but thanks for calling in from Muscle Shoals, and I'll catch up with you next time.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roll Tide, baby.
Yeah, roll Tide to you, man. We got two 251s back to back, and those will be our final calls. So we'll just dive right into it. Knock them out. 251, you're up. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson, who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Good evening, Kyle. It's Kevin, Dallas, Georgia, via Mobile, Alabama. How you doing this evening?
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much. Always good to get you calling in, and, you know, long-time caller, so interested to get your feedback on the game, man. Take it away.
I'm going to try to be brief. I tried to be Switzerland during World War II. I just wanted to sit back and not say anything, Kyle. But, hey, I tried to hold my peace, but I can't do it, Kyle. I can't do it. And that is, I just want to bring a movie in for a second as far as sleeping with the enemy. And I believe for the last 5 years, when it comes to our OC and DC, we've been sleeping with the enemy in the respect that the OC and DC for the University of Alabama, the previous years as well as this year, they're not utilizing the players to their strengths. One thing as far as when it comes to the stars don't lie. The stars only lie maybe, I'm going to say, 10% or less of the time. The 5 stars, but my question with the University of Alabama as far as OCs and DCs are, it's one thing to be able to recruit, but it's another thing to be able to develop. And I think as far as developmental, and I apologize for having to say it in this respect, has been piss poor for the past 4 or 5 years. Now, when it comes to working with your strengths, as far as whether it's Milroe, whether it is Simpson, or whether it is Lonergan, would a question, and I think we all know the answer, Jalen Hurts was playing under this, whatever this system is, I don't even know what offense we're running. Would he be a drop back quarterback? Would he be a rollout quarterback? Will he RPO, or would it be all of the above? Would he be pigeonholed as far as being the drop back quarterback? And the question that I have as far as Reese is concerned, why are you not utilizing Jalen Milroe to his strengths? And his strength would be as far as the rollout. It wouldn't be as far as your, quote, prototypical drop back quarterback. And for all those that may be on the ledge right now when it comes to the future quarterback, as far as I know, we were spoiled for the previous years as far as with Bryce Young and Tua and et cetera. But as far as the future of Alabama football, as far as at the quarterback position, men, women, boys, and girls, is presently playing high school football in the state of California. Kyle, the blessing with for these next 3 games is, if I'm not mistaken, I think the next 2 or 3 games are at home. Tennessee will be at home. Mississippi State will be at home. LSU is at home, as well as Ole Miss is at home. So that should be worth something.
Mississippi State's on the road, just to clarify. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. I apologize. Well, as far as Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee, those are home games. Mississippi State, I'm concerned, but I'm not worried, because I think that we should be able to handle them if we. Oh, but let me ask you this, Kyle. In regards to, and I don't want to see this but this comment, as well as it being in black and white at any other Alabama broadcast game again, as far as having a line that is bigger than most NFL lines. My question to you, Kyle, is Ballou and the other guys still the strength and conditioning guys at the University of Alabama?
Yes.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then why aren't the University of Alabama offensive linemen doing the doggone splits that Evan Neal was doing 2 years ago?
That's a really good question.
I mean,
yeah, I remember
Evan Neal was.
Yeah, there was that viral clip where he was like jumping and like doing those splits on those boxes, right? That was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
But yet he was. But wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken, was he 300 plus?
Yeah, Evan Neal was.
Was he 300 plus pounds, Kyle?
Evan Neal was like 340, 350.
But there was never a question about him. Block as far as pass blocking, run blocking, conditioning, anything. But all these guys that are 300 plus, they can't chew gum and walk at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you have an understanding for Evan Neal. Yeah, I mean, like Adam saying, he was 6'7", like what, 340. And the crazy thing about Evan Neal is he is athletic enough to play guard his freshman year before he kicked out to tackle. So he started at guard his freshman year, and they slid him to tackle, where he eventually, now he's in the NFL. But yeah, I mean, he was, God, I mean, that guy was just incredible. Caden Proctor just doesn't have that same athleticism. He's a monster of a man. I would hope he gets there, but just, I mean, they're eating him up. I mean, Texas ate him up. South Florida ate him up. They were coming right through the middle too, exotic blitzes. That's why, Kevin, I am so worried about this Ole Miss game because of Pete Golding. And how ironic is that to say? The guy that you wanted to leave the most is coming back with a plan, right? Like, if you're Pete Golding, I mean, how you feeling about Pete Golding coming back?
Honestly, concern, yes. Worried, no. And the reason why I say that, Kyle, is just this. There are some people in life, Kyle, that you can give the doggone answers to the test, and they still won't ace the test. And I believe that Pete Golden is one of those guys. At best, he's going to do as far as Saturday will be a BRC. But the thing is, just as well as he knows the University of Alabama, we know him. So by that being the case, Pete Golden's strength is recruiting. He won't be recruiting Saturday. He will be coaching Saturday. And that's his kryptonite as far as coaching.
I like that, Kevin. I'm down with that. Anything else, Kevin, while I got you on the show?
Just this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and that is be concerned but not worried. And the thing that we need to focus on is just one thing, and that is, in order for the University of Alabama to win this year, and I'm speaking sober, no Kool-Aid, no Barks root beer on ice, Kyle, no alcoholic beverage whatsoever, but I'm speaking soberly, and that is that the University of Alabama want to win this year. On the offensive side of the ball, what they're going to have to do is put all their eggs into packages that involve Jalen Milroe. On the defensive side of the ball, what sense, Kyle, do it make to get to the quarterback? And once you get to the quarterback, you don't make the tackle. And the next time that I see Dallas Turner in pass coverage, I'm going to jump off the Dolly Parton Bridge. Because why do we have Dallas Turner? I mean, that would be like, for instance, having Lawrence Taylor or Charles Haley and covering the running back and the defensive backs 15, 20 yards down the field when their forte is find quarterback, hit quarterback, put quarterback on the ground hard. But once again, Kyle, I might be just thinking with a rational mind. Maybe I need to think with an irrational mind, and I think Dallas Turner will be an excellent cornerback in the NFL. And maybe Kool-Aid will be an excellent pass rusher in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, I'm right now. I'm trying to. What do the young people say, Kyle? Think out of the box. So maybe Kool-Aid need to rush the passer. Malachi Moore need to rush the passer, and we need to have Terry and Arnold at the Mike linebacker and Dallas Turner at the. Let him be the Deion Sanders as far as we're concerned. Let him play the. We put him on the one side of the field, and he just shut that side down of the field as far as cornerback. And to answer your question, Kyle, in reference to
wait, you forgot. Then you swap out Caleb Downs with Jaheim Otis. Put Jaheim Otis back there.
Exactly. And as far as at the Wildcat position, we'll put Robbie Oots at the Wildcat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the Colorado-Alabama question, Kyle.
Yeah.
Alabama will win, and the reason why they will win now, if you said Saturday, is because of one guy in particular won't be playing offensively and defensively for the next 2 weeks, and that's Travis Hunter.
Yep, Travis Hunter. Yep.
So that's good. That's good for at least a touchdown there.
Yeah.
So
baller. I know, Kevin. Don't look, man. I think we'll be fine. I don't think you're gonna hit the Dolly Parton Bridge. I did drive over some when I was our last caller from Muscle Shoals. I drove over some weird bridges up there. It was like these 2-lane bridges. You guys know what I'm talking about if you're up in that area. Over these dams, they were like tiny for like my truck, and I mean it was pretty wild to be up there and drive on those bridges. But stay away from the Dolly Parton Bridge, Kevin. Call me back on the next show, and we'll dive into it. Cool.
Will do. Thanks, Coach. And thanks, Kyle. Greatly appreciate everything you do. Take care and continue doing what you're doing.
All right, man. Take it easy. See ya. All right. 251. This is my last caller. So 337, I'll get you next time. Call in again next time, okay? Hang up now so you don't have to wait. 251, let's get it. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Kendall from Mobile.
Kendall, are you there?
I don't have an answer for that.
Can you not hear me, Cal?
Yeah, I think that was I hit the Siri button. Kevin repeat this. Let's start over. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Kendall from Mobile. How you doing tonight,
Kendall,
Cal?
what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for joining the show.
I want to talk about this Alabama quarterback battle and some things I noticed. You know, I watch a lot of tape. I do a lot of digging. You know, I do my research and stuff. From the jump, I've always picked Ty to win the job. Now, clearly, Milroe's more developed right now, and he's more game ready. But some things I noticed, Reese just don't call the plays to the strengths of Ty Simpson and or Jalen Milroe. He was giving the plays that should go to Milroe to Tyler Buckner yesterday is what I seen. It seemed like Tyler Buckner was getting the better play calls from what I noticed. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, I could see your point on that.
And another thing I noticed with Ty was the game flowed a little better when he was in. Now, whether or not he starts next week, I don't know. But the run game flowed a little better with him. It's just Milroe, he's so up and down as a player. Like, I love Milroe. I wanted to succeed. I really wanted to do good, but either you're getting a 50-yard touchdown or you might get a pick six, and you never know with him as your quarterback.
Man, can you imagine if Jalen Milroe throws another interception, right? So that's the crazy thing about his game is like he might throw a 40-yard touchdown, he might break a 90-yard touchdown, or he might throw an interception, and that's kind of the box that he's been painted in now. Whereas Ty Simpson, it might be more of a kind of a sleepy game, but he might manage it to where he feeds the running backs and you win. I don't know. I mean, like I said earlier, it's just like we haven't seen enough, of a sample size from Simpson yet. But I believe in Simpson. If he's able to rep and he's able to come out, then come with it. And then you could always go back to Milroe. But I certainly think it's Milroe or Simpson, and that's it. And I think it's away from Buckner. And I think if you break the glass with Dylan Lonergan, if you have to, then you do that. But I like what I got from Simpson. Don't worry, man. I got kids too. Go ahead, Kendall. Finish out, man.
I apologize about that.
That's all good, man. Kids are part of it, man. They're the best part of this life. Go ahead.
Simpson, though, we got to remember as well, I don't think he got any reps with the first string in practice, so he was kind of thrown in there at a bad moment. He knew where to go with the ball. I mean, he made some nice plays. He didn't put the ball nowhere to where it was in danger of being intercepted or he was no danger of fumbling. He just has to process faster. That's on issue with Ty, and I can see why he didn't start from the beginning. Now, will he be given a chance against Ole Miss? Who knows? But something has to be done with Caden Proctor. Like, who could we put right there, though? Who would you put?
I don't know. I guess Pritchett, and that might be the bigger question than who's going to start at quarterback, because who's going to start at left tackle? Because that might dictate the entire offense, right? I mean, it looks like, it's going to be a street fight either way if you go with Simpson or with Milroe, but maybe if you solve that left tackle problem, then that can ease up on the quarterback. I don't know. But, right now Proctor might need a timeout. And since we've been swapping around quarterbacks, maybe swap around the tackle position and, see if there's anybody else that can, kind of have some momentum for that offensive line, because they're going to be in trouble. Pete Golding is going to do every single thing he can to beat Alabama in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Can you imagine that? Like, the people ran him off here, comes back, wins it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I guarantee you they're attacking that left tackle. Make one more point, Kendall, before we close it out.
To Alabama fans, don't worry. Every year, Alabama, we click at some point in time. Now, sometimes it's later than others, depending on whoever the quarterback is or whatever. Maybe we go with Milroe, maybe we go with Ty. It really don't matter till the O-line gets fixed. But remember, last year we looked terrible. Well, we didn't look terrible. We just looked like an average team until after that LSU loss and we started clicking. Then we was wondering where this team was the whole time. So maybe things will click and get better. And the O-line, we got to give them time too. They form at different times under Saban. They always start off slow, so let's be patient with that. In 2021, they didn't start to form until the SEC championship game, and they got destroyed by Auburn coming against Georgia, and they played like they was all first-round draft picks. So who knows? We'll see.
I appreciate the call, Kendall, man. You take it easy, man, and call again next time.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right. That was Kendall. We got a super chat in here. Luckily, no fumbles. Were several of those blindside sacks. You're right, man. I mean, because Ty Simpson got completely lit on some of those. That was from Frank. Really appreciate it. All right. Appreciate you guys being with me on this show. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. You got Coach Saban's press conference Monday at 12 p.m. Central Time. We'll bring that to you right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being with me. Hit the thumbs up. Anytime you see the content, really appreciate you guys' support. All the super chats tonight are great. Got Saban at 12 p.m. Central Time. You also got Lane Kiffin. You got player interviews as well. Going to hear from, I believe, J.C. Latham and Deontay Lawson, as well as Alabama turns the page now to Ole Miss. It's the first game in SEC play. 2:30 is the kick time on Saturday right here at Bryant-Denny Stadium in beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Stay tuned for Nick Saban's press conference on Monday, 12 p.m., and I'll catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube.